Well, good afternoon. Welcome to my home. Coffee's on, fire's lit. Hope you're having a good day. Anybody that's watched any of my previous videos, I'm quite sure that you are aware that I'm sympathetic to the freedom and the awakening movement as it's been happening over the last 4 or 5 years. And that I've personally, I've had questions of the system for many years before that, and that not quite as involved in it, just kind of ignored it, but just was under the realization that the system was rigged and that it wasn't good for humanity. And I guess I just ignored it and went about doing what I had to do. But after what happened 4 or 5 years ago, many people awakened and become involved in the freedom movements, and were staunch advocates against the system and the way it's going, and that, and the corruption that was in the system, and that the system was bad, and they're talking about things the government was doing, and that we got to stop these guys, and that. Well, got a question for everybody that come to that realization, and that over the past few years, and that where the fuck's your brain now? Pardon the language, but I see people, Trump on the awaken sites and the freedom sites. Trump's down in the States there now, got in, and he's passing all these executive orders and that. And don't get me wrong, some of them are great, and on ground level they're going to be great. They'll help, and they'll help you right now. And it's up to you it really is up to you. I'm not trying to change your mind, but everybody was starting to waken up and starting to, realize that things weren't the way they seemed, and that, or the way that they were putting them across to be. And but now that Trump's in, and he's come across with the pacification of the masses, that the left side, the Biden side, and up here the Trudeau side, the side that was pushing against pushing the woke agendas and all that crap, and that people stood up against that, got their backs up. Well, then the system decided that we've stepped, we've got our 3 steps out, we're going to take 2 steps back, and they've taken their 2 steps back, and Trump's come in here, and we've got other right-leaning governments coming in all over the place. We got Polyev up here, and that, all that is this is just my opinion, but all that is to pacify and to get people to step back and go, oh wow, well, we're saved, But with Trump was saying, I see on the sites, and that after he had put the executive order in against CBDCs, and that, saying there's not going to be any CBDCs. I see all kinds of postings saying, oh, a big win for us. There's no say they can't bring CBDCs in. And well, mark my words, I possibly could be wrong, and it'd be kind of nice if I was wrong, but I don't think so. And that you're going to see, he stopped central bank digital currencies, but that's not stopping any other digital currencies that's going to come into place. A federal currency, or individual bank currencies, but they're all programmable and they're all controllable, and you see them put in $500 billion into the infrastructure of AI, and do you think that all these AI data centers are good for you? Do you think they're putting them in to make things better for you? If you do, well, I got some nice beachfront property in friggin' middle of the Yukon for you, and that it's it's not being put into place to make it better for you. It's being put into place for control. Again, just like people said during the pandemic and about the pharmaceutical stuff and that, follow the freaking money. See where the money's going. And when most of the money's going into AI infrastructure and artificial intelligence, this and all this type of stuff, that's where it's going. And not just the States, Canada, the rest of the Western world, so-called Western world, and it's all still going the same direction. And like I said, Trump coming in, there's going to be a lot of good things happen right on ground level. But on the 40,000 square foot, 40,000 foot view, it's going the same technocratic path, and we see all the rigmarole about Canada becoming the 51st state and all this type of stuff, and the barking back and forth, and we'll do this and we're going to do that, and we'll put this against you and we'll put that against you, and tariff this and tariff that. And since at least 2007, if not before, but from what I can gather, they've had the plan of the North American Union that they've been talking about, and from what I can gather, the NAFTA was just a precursor of that, my thinking is that you're going to see in the near future, you're not going to see Canada become the 51st state or that, but you're going to see the North American Union, where it's free trade amongst the North American. We're going to be one big North American conglomerate, I guess, so that we're all working together in that. But you get back into the freedom sites and talking about freedom and awake and all this other shit. I see so much division even in those sites, people barking at each other and calling each other names and that. And we got to unify. Unity does not mean uniformity, but we do have to become unified as people, as humanity. Rise above the friggin' divisions and the stupidity and stuff that's going around, and even within amongst the ranks of the freedom groups and the awake people, and there's so much division, so much separation. Like I said, you don't need to be all thinking the same way, but we have to be unified. We have to walk in unity, or else we're just going to continue down this dystopian path. And I think there's greater things for humanity than following along behind a Trudeau, a Carney, a Polyev, a Trump, a Biden, whoever the frig it is. We don't need to be kowtowing to these elitists. And they're not elites, but they're elitists. They think they're better than us. There's billions of us and only thousands of them. So if we can rise above that divide and conquer shit that they've been pushing, I don't know how. There's got to be greater minds than mine out there. I'm just just an old truck driver that's been pounded around the roads pretty tough over the years, but I'm still hopefully have gained a little bit of wisdom and bouncing around inside that truck for the time. Got a lot of time to think to yourself when you're driving down the road. With that being said, we gotta become aware of who we are, of who you are, who I am. You gotta start taking responsibility for yourself. Like I've been saying for a couple, 3 years now, anytime I spoke or anything, any group I've run or place I've spoke at, and that it's time to get healthy and serious. And it's time to get healthy, mind, body, and spirit, and get serious. And that, I've had to do that myself. And that the last 3 years, I've had heart failure 3-4 years ago, whatever it was when I was on the road. Weighed over 300 pounds. I'm down to 200 pounds. I've lost over 110 pounds. I was diabetic. My diabetes has been reversed. I have no diabetes now. All my markers in my blood are good, and I'm on no medications whatsoever, and I don't do it the way that they tell you to. So, it's different for everybody. You got to figure out your own thing, but there is ways, and that. So, and same with your spirit. I'm not going to tell you how you should be seeking after your spiritual awakening, if you will. But just put it this way: anything that tells you that you have to do it their way, or anything that tells you if you don't do this, you're going to do that, you're going to go here or there, anything that's got you under any kind of thumb isn't the best way to go. And that, in my opinion. Been there, done that. And I really believe that the Creator is within. Your contact with creation is within and outside. Get the hell out of the houses. Get out in the air. Get your feet on the ground. Sit down, be quiet, listen. There's a lot to be said in silence. A lot to be told to you in silence. And that, quiet your mind. Listen to creation. Listen to the Creator. Listen to your higher self. Become aware of who you are. Become aware of your consciousness. Like I hear a lot of people talk about raising your consciousness and that, and maybe that's a way of putting it, but I think we are consciousness. We're all out of a greater consciousness. We're all a spark of consciousness. So I don't know how we can raise our consciousness any higher than that. But what we need to do, in my opinion, is become aware of our consciousness. And the more you're aware of that, the more you're aware of who you really are, the more and the closer we're going to get to being where humanity should be and where we should be as a spiritual being. We're not humans having a spiritual experience. We're spirits having a human experience. And that's what we're here for, as far as I can see and as far as I can understand. You may have a different viewpoint on it. That's totally up to you. We're here having the experience. So anyway, like I've said before, think for yourself. I'm not here to tell you what to think or how to think, but I am here to encourage you to think. You've been blessed with the abilities to critically think. Those inert abilities are right within you, and we've been told how dumb we are, and we've been stupefied for decades and centuries and millennia. and told that we're not enough and that you need this to be that or whatever. You don't, everything you need is within. So for now, just be aware of what's going on in the politics. And like I said, it's not all bad. Like what they're doing on ground level, a lot of that stuff is great. But it is all leading down that same dystopian path, that same technocratic path, as far as I can see it. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first to say I'm wrong, and thank God I am, But I don't see it being any different. I don't see Trump making it any better that way. He's going to make it better on the ground. Same with up here. If Polyev gets in, I'm pretty sure he will. I think that's the plan. And he gets in, he can make it better on the ground, less taxes, less this, blah, blah, blah. But it's still going to lead to the same spot. And I guess just in closing today, just look inside. Take the time. Take the time to listen to your spirit. Just take that time. Don't be listening to other people. Don't be listening to other men. Don't be listening to me. Like I said, I'm just an old 67-year-old retired truck driver, that I've made more mistakes than I have made proper things probably over the years. But I keep going ahead and keep trying. I may tell you something different today than I told you yesterday because I learned something today maybe. And that's really my goal, is to learn and to be able to open-mindedly look at these things and not follow the program, because we've all been programmed to think and to act in certain ways, and right from birth, our education system, our work systems, our social systems, it's all smoke and fucking mirrors. So yeah, just take a look around, listen, become who you really are, search out who you really are, search, look, listen, and become the best you can be, and a lot of people say, well, it's just little me, what can I do? Well, it's amazing what one person can do if you look at some of the things that one person has done. But for you or I, let's just, do what you can with what you have where you're at. Even if it's just smiling at somebody. Excuse me, or giving somebody a hug. Or telling somebody they're appreciated. They're loved. Anyway, reach out. Give your loved ones a hug. Tell them they're loved. Look in the mirror. Let yourself know you're loved. Together, we can triumph, but it has to be together. We can't do it individuals. We have to be individuals, but we have to unite. Not become uniform, but united. So anyway, we love you. Thank you. Give your loved ones that big hug and be the best you can be. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.